So this week in pose practice, this is week number 10, April 18th to 24th, which is today. What am I going to talk about? Who knows? Let's just look at what I did. I'm still focusing on stuff like this, high and low angles, like perspective, whatever you want to call that. And I'm still not good at it. Who would have guessed? But stuff like this, I mean, it's turning out better and better as I go on, which is kind of funny because it's all subconscious. I'm not really practicing. I'm just kind of doing this. So it's really cool to see improvements magically happen, but I'm still having trouble finishing the quicker ones. Later in the week, you'll notice I tried to speed up a little bit because I kind of came to the realization that going slow, how would I say this? I don't have to go slow. Like, it's not like going slow. The slower I go, the better it turns out. I find sometimes when I go really quick, things turn out better than if I go really slow. So you could see, like, this is a 90-second that I did really quick, right? Looks fine. I still got like the pose and like the, you know, the flow of the balance of the pose and everything pretty well. Same with this one. I think this is actually where I started going quicker because these all 90 seconds are all done, right? Maybe it's this one, I don't remember. But they're all complete, which is a nice thing to see. In terms of more directed focus, it's still just high and low angle stuff. I'm trying not to show too much. Like, for example, this left or this right leg here, you don't really see any of it. So part of me, sometimes I would want to just say I was redoing this now. You know, you really want to show that there's a leg here and like bring it out. But it's all hidden, like it wouldn't actually be there. So I'm still trying to focus on not showing too much. Let's see if there's a good example. I find a lot with like the sides of the torso, I'm showing too much. Like, you might not be able to see all of this. Feels a little wide, right? That's another thing I'm focusing on in general. Let's see, this is April 22nd. I think this one turned out pretty good. I'm noticing more and more how important eye level is, like the horizon line. You know? But I don't know if I can see it yet so easily. It's still really difficult for me. But it seems like if I was more conscious of it, I'd be able to really get some of these poses a lot quicker, like a lot more confidently. Because what I'm doing right now is basically just looking for points of relation, you know, and working through the contour. So like this arm is pretty straight. Like I'm trying to find where things are similar, like this shoulder and this foot are basically the same vertical line, you know, plane sort of thing. I do a lot of that, like this and this hip. So I try and like find points of relation and work like that. Which, it's kind of a crutch, I feel like. It's a helpful thing to think about, but it's stopping me from taking the next step, you know, figuring out really why these points are the same. If that makes sense? I don't know, it feels like I'm kind of getting in my own way doing that. Anyway, this is yesterday's. Not a whole lot to say here. Like, I'm still not totally finishing these quick ones. I usually have the 90 seconds on this side. So I'm guessing these are them. I'm here and there, I'm not finishing them, but I'm trying to do them faster. I want to go quicker. So this is today's here. So some days are better than others, but still, like, I think I'm getting it. As time goes on, I'm feeling a lot of improvement, which is cool. Anyway, that's enough of the poses. Why don't we look at some of the sketches that I did. I think this was the daily pose. Let me take a look. Yeah, this was this one without the head. Because I've been practicing, sort of focusing on practicing the head lately. So I did this one where I had to basically redraw the entire head. I did some weird Oni lady, Oni businesswoman. The background I didn't know what to do with, so I just did something random. But yeah, that one was fun. Next one I did this, which, let's take a look at this here really quick. I don't even remember which one it was. I think it was this one, to be honest. I had the idea of Well, I don't even remember, to be honest, but I want to finish this one day. Like an action scene of like, this is supposed to be a polar bear. Just forget that it's a big blob. I didn't have time, okay? It turned out pretty cool. I want to finish this one. But again, like the background, you know? Stuff like perspective and really comes into play when you're doing something like this. And I don't fully, truly understand it yet. So I want to think about that more before I revisit this one. And stuff like the weapon coming right in toward the camera. It was really hard for me to kind of get that to come across well. So I want to learn a little more before I revisit that one. This one here is from this day, which is, I think it was this one, which might be the pose of the day. I don't remember. But I did Makima here just because I couldn't think of a character to do. Pose is a little weird, like why is her hand on her head like this? But I had fun with this one. The background was pretty fun too. Just generally, I wanted to work on the face and the hair and the head again, right? So I picked a pose where I could draw a face. I'm still not the best at it, but I'm getting there. Things like the eyes, kind of rotating around the plane of the head, is really hard for me to wrap my head around. Did I make a pun there? I don't know. So the next one was this one, sitting down. I don't know, I thought of somebody sitting on like a pile of rocks, you know, like hiking. So this is the rough, quick sketch I did. Didn't have time to really think about the background. But then over the weekend I came and did a little more. I got really stuck on the first day though, and I didn't really do a whole lot. I was doing trees for like an hour, and I think I made them a little too big, but I like the way they turned out at least. I wanted to do like a low information sort of a look. It's just hard to think about where the light is hitting, right? So I got a little stuck there, but then I finished it up the next day. I think there's a little too much color on the rocks. And I corrected the line art a little bit. You can see it's like just a little bit different. I just went over it again. I think I want to stop using a pencil brush, you know, like a textured brush. Anyway, this one was fun. I have a bit of an announcement, I guess. In case you don't know, there's a kind of a community Discord channel server for this channel. If you want to kind of share your work and, you know, help motivate each other kind of thing. Because the biggest problem I have with art, continuing art, is motivation. So I started up a Discord channel. There's a handful of people here now, and we're kind of having a good time sharing our work. And I want to have a little bit more community engagement with that. So what I'm starting, I'm going to do like a prompt of the week sort of thing, where each week I'll give a prompt for you and me to draw, and just whatever comes to mind. We'll basically be working with the same prompt. And if you like, you can post your work in the Discord here, and maybe I'll share it in the weekly review coming up. That's the idea, at least. The first prompt is going to be, drumroll please, rain. Mostly because I've been listening to rain sounds lately. For the last week or so, I've just been listening to rain sounds. Rain on a tent by a lake in particular. So that'll be the first prompt. Post it in the Discord if you like. And yeah, aside from that, I don't have a whole lot else to say. So I'm just going to leave. Yeah, thanks for watching once again. And I'll be back next week with another week in review. Till then. All right, cut.